Okay, alrighty, is this thing on? Yeah, looks on. Hey guys, greetings. Thanks for tuning in once again. So I'm on part 3 of this book. It's called Personal Finance for Canadians for Dummies. It's by Eric Tyson and Tony Martin. So it's a pretty good book. I'm on part 3, so I'm just going chapter by chapter. And I didn't summarize this chapter either, so I'm just gonna kind of skim through it, skip along, and see if there are any good tidbits in there. So chapter 2 is it's named Overcoming Obstacles to Personal Financial Success. That's the chapter. In this chapter, it says it's about comprehending financial illiteracy and its causes. Discusses what you believe in and identifies what could be possibly holding you back. So some interesting stuff. So I'll just go through the taglines, the main taglines like this. The first one is personal financial illiteracy. The next one is teaching personal finance in schools. Then talking money. The next subject topic is talking money at home. Then the next subject topic is conflicts with financial publishing and advising. Then the next subject topic is, let's see if there's any more. Yeah, there are. It's discovering the real hurdles that could be holding you back. Then the next one is practicing good habits. The next subject topic is, actually that's it for that one. Then it goes on to substantiating and accomplishing goals, chapter 3. So for chapter 2, that's pretty much, those are all the subject topics. So I'll start with the beginning paragraph. So in here it says, let's see. So it talks about if you're a dummy in this topic environment, not to let your ego get in the way of help and guidance. So that's important. Then it talks about some crooked things that people do. So I'll just skip those. Then in the subject topic of financial illiteracy, when we get there, it talks about how to manage personal finances. So it says, sadly, most people don't manage their personal finances well. And it's a crucial, lifelong needed skill or talent. So you should develop it early. So then it says, fortunately, there are lots of ways to learn this financial ability, and it's a key to success that can be taught in a school and at home. So it gives us some facts and figures here about how many personal bankruptcies are filed in Canada each year, annually. It says around 75,000 people file for bankruptcy in Canada each year. It's interesting. Shows that half of Canadians make RRSP contributions most years. And then it talks about marriage and divorce rates. Not sure how accurate it is, but it talks about that and the savings and the issues that are involved with that scenario and that dynamic. So some more facts and figures. Then it gets to the subject topic of teaching personal finance in schools. So the student's relationship with finances and how it develops over time. That's interesting. Then it's the topic of talking money at home. And so generally speaking, your community and your parents especially should have some sway in how you think about finances and your relationship with cash. So your parents could know something about it, or just follow the basic principles of saving more than you spend and building up your savings account over time, and eventually, hopefully, retiring. So that's something most people's parents know about. But unfortunately, also, some people don't know about that, and that's why we have the poverty issue in a lot of dimensions of the world. And then it gets to the topic of conflicts. So really, it's about the information that you're consuming and where you get it from. Like, say, social media. Social media might give you information, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's accurate information. It may be inaccurate and could be wrong in some cases. And then also the people that you spend time with, such as like gurus and self-help teachers and vloggers and podcasters and books authors. Anyone you spend time with could have the wrong information, so it's not necessarily the right stuff that you're consuming to begin with. So just want to watch for that as well. That's a pitfall for some people. You want to catch yourself there. So social media. So there's a lot of examples here and information on how things can go wrong with social media, and the information that you consume on social media could be the wrong information. Then it also discusses writers and what writers talk about and what happens there. Like books like this might not be exactly accurate. And then it has a whole section here on in part 1, page 32, chapter 2. So it's talking about due diligence missing from an author's exercise or their pre-work exercise. So, and as a result of that, the reader and the audience could take up the wrong interpretation of things. So in the paragraph here, it says most people live paycheck to paycheck. So it's if you're like working class, you don't have a business, or you don't have your money making more money for you. So most people live paycheck to paycheck. That's true. Then it goes on to talk about some business habits, business practices. Then we get to the hurdles of real and imaginary. So let's see if this paragraph has anything good. Yeah, it just discusses the consequences of common behavior. So that's interesting. Then it talks about hurdles that could be holding you back. Like tendencies that people have, and things that they engage with that they shouldn't be engaging with, that impacts their economic success. Then it talks about practicing good habits. Of course, the easiest one to think about is just simply saving more than you spend, and just building that savings pool so you have it to use in the event of circumstances where you need to use it. And then it talks about a few areas that likely need to be tackled in personal habits. So tracking and reducing spending in one paragraph. It talks about investing wisely in another. And then it talks about making informed real estate and insurance purchases. So intelligent personal financial strategies have little to do with your gender, ethnicity, or marital status. That's what it says. We all need to manage our finances wisely. Some aspects of financial management become more or less important at different points in your life. But for the most part, the principles remain the same for all of us. Knowing the right answers isn't enough. You have to practice good financial habits just as you practice other habits, such as brushing your teeth. Don't be overwhelmed. As you read this book, make a short list of your financial marching orders and then start working away. Passing this book, we will highlight ways you can overcome issues and keep control of your cash rather than letting your emotions and your cash rule you. So yeah, you just don't want to let the cash get out of hand and out of balance, and you want to keep it all in track and do things the proper way. That's the end of chapter 2. That's page 36. So there isn't that much in that chapter. Then chapter 3 is the next one. Wait, that was chapter 2. Actually, you know what? I'm supposed to be doing chapter 3. I just did part 2. So what I'll do is just skim through chapter 3 really quick, just to save on time. So I'll just go through the section headings, skip some of the information in here. So chapter 3 is about substantiating and accomplishing goals. And it says the first subject topic is creating your own definition of wealth. It talks about what money cannot buy. Then it discusses the balancing act that you have to go maintain. Then it discusses prioritizing your savings goals. And some parts of that is becoming part of the landed gentry, retiring, educating your kids and your offspring, your children and offspring, and owning a business. Then another part of that, the next subject topic is know what's most important to you. And then we get to the subject of the advantages of retirement plans. Then it talks about a section here, talks about avoiding RRSP, early withdrawal penalties. So some people have a tendency to withdraw funds from their retirement account early due to circumstances that could be out of their control, beyond their control. So you just have to roll with the punches. Then the next subject is dealing with competing goals, and then building emergency reserves. Then the next subject is saving to buy a home or business, if you want to do that. Then it talks about saving for your offspring's educational expenses if you plan on doing that. And then saving for big purchases and preparing for retirement and what you need for retirement. So it discusses the low income issue. Generally speaking, the trend is a good amount of people and citizens don't actually save what they need total for their retirement. So it's a struggle once they approach that age. So it talks about government benefits and the importance of not neglecting financial preparations for retirement. Then discusses specific government benefits, and it talks about pensions. That's subject topic, and has a retirement planning worksheet here. Yeah, let's just kind of skim through and go past some of these paragraphs. Skim past these areas. Yeah, so it gives you some other things to consider, such as home equity, realistically planning, questions and responses to spending, your hobbies, and your investing and tax strategies. Then it talks about objections to retirement plans and common issues that a good amount of people face. And then you got a little graphic there. It says save more, spend less. Common motto for most people. That's like a pretty common strategy most people know about. And then it goes on to part 2 and then chapter 4. So that's pretty much the gist of chapter 3. So some of the topics in these paragraphs are repetitive. So I'll just kind of skip some of this information, some of the data in here. But yeah, the overarching trend here in this chapter is making sure that you have enough for retirement, and then taking advantages of avenues if you're flexible in those areas, such as tax planning, using retirement, using the government retirement supplements, the government retirement supplements. That way it will make retiring a little bit easier for the retiree. Let's see if there's anything else that I missed that's really important. Yeah, and the rest of it's for chapter 3, for part 3 of this video. Part 3 is pretty straightforward. So then we get to the next chapter, is going to be part 4, chapter 4. I'll try to keep this lined up so that the part matches the chapter. But not every book has this specific layout. So right now it's easy to say the part that matches the chapter. But some books don't actually have a layout like this. So for now, I'll just keep naming it part. So that's pretty good so far. If you have any comments, feel free to comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think of this. Some of these topics are kind of boring, but the information is useful. So you're not going to find this information in a TV show. Most likely won't find it on social media posts. But this is like integral to people's success, all past their life activities. So I'll just go through the next video and keep sharing this information, and I hope you enjoy this one. Have a good one.